What's up, guys? It's your host, Spartanic Arts DXD, back with another high school DXD related video. And today we have What If Issei Went Rogue, Part 3. Now, if you guys want to know exactly when I upload or my upload schedule, click the little blue button right next to the subscribe button, okay? Or click the first link down in the description below. I really would appreciate it. Merry Christmas. I'm recording this on the 26th of December. Or, my bad, I did record one of these parts on the 25th of December, so as of right now, Merry Christmas! What did you guys get for Christmas? Tell me in the comment section down below. Hopefully it was something nice, okay? I had a fun Christmas. It's been pretty good. So, yeah, I hope everybody had the same. I'm going to try to stream on December 28th. Now, if things don't go that way, I am trying to do something huge right now, so just FYI. Your boy's making moves. But, yeah, so what if Issei Went Rogue Part 3? If we could all hit 1,000 likes at all, if all possible, that would be absolutely amazing. And without further ado, go ahead and subscribe to my second channel, I'm Popowski, and follow DXD down. I am Popowski. We are 7,000 subs away from 50,000 subscribers, which would be crazy. And I plan on getting this channel to 40K. So let's get it. And without further ado, let's go ahead and thank my balance breakers: Rob the King, Lachlan Yates, Jordan Patchow, and Lewis, Night Ammo, Refeek135, Asimotus, Slow, The Black Dragon Emperor, Keep Saying 21, Louis Bermudez, $5 Sake, VRWolf #2347, Night Ammo, Ziki2000, The Savoyals, The PS_Gamer, XORX108, Senrar Q, Legendary Saiyan 98, Mazaku, Dr. is the Bomb, Grimfire Shot Gamer, That Round Guy, Zero Fusion, Source Spawner, Chaotic Raven, and the J-Boys. Thank you so much for becoming a balance breaker. And without further ado, let's go. Wait, before anything else, I'm gonna announce this once again. When if I make my merch, okay, I would like to know how many people are going to buy it. That'd be absolutely amazing. I don't even care if it's like 2 people, man. I would love to do it, just to have my name, you know what I mean? That'd just be cool. So without further ado, just let me know down comment section down below or in the stream tab. I know you're here right now in the premiere, so hit that like button, please. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into part 3. Chapter 7. Scathach doesn't use any weapons. She just accelerates towards Issei and only uses her bare hand to punch, a pure physical attack without any secrets behind it. Red color, pupil that seems you can see through soul, which shines aggressively, but then she suddenly arrived in front of Issei instantly. Realizing the danger that suddenly arrived in front of him, Issei's fighting instincts kicks in and he tried to dodge the incoming attack, but to no avail. His body hits the wall. He coughs about a bit of blood from his mouth, and he couldn't help but become confused at what just happened. Even though he already avoided it, his body was still hit. Just exactly what happened? Thinks very strange. That was my oigi, this her secret technique. If you understand some Celtic myths, you should remember the special skills of magic spear Geblong can master this ability so far as only me. This is a rare spear ability trait. Its true identity is that a reversal of causality, in which the spear is released after the outcome of the spear hitting the heart. And since it is attacked based on the outcome, it is considered impossible to evade. What I must teach you are this technique. How far you can comprehend the skills is totally up to you. You must try to use it even without the spear itself and apply it to all of your attacks. Don't think I can do it because I only have a spear. The spear special trait can only be activated once you totally comprehend the trait itself. The spear can only show its full potential if the holder itself is capable. Scathach comes closer to Issei, then proceeded to pinch his chin lightly and make him look up to her. She says, "However, what I wanted to say is, I have never lose a close quarter combat, and as far as a long distance fight, I have range techniques. Once the fight is very difficult, so your best is to not disappoint me, because I'm waiting for my payment, Issei Hyodo." Then she gives his lips a quick peck. Issei once more becomes stupefied because once again he got kissed without his consent. Well, at least it's not a guy who's kissing him, or we have totally snapped, but it still pisses him off that he once more got harassed by the opposite gender, even though he's supposed to be the man here. But he knows he can't do anything about it since she's way stronger than him at this moment, so he could only hold it in for now. Scathach then let go of his chin gently and walked away facing the opposite of the direction. But her cheeks are mildly blushing and she got a bit of a goofy smile on her face while thinking, finally, I have my first kiss. Her heart kept fluttering knowing she finally lost her first kiss to the man she approves of. Issei got up and scratched the blood under the corner of his mouth. If he could grasp such strength, so long as his attack hits, then he could become considered a winning already. Interesting. Please teach me this technique, Shiosho. I promise I won't disappoint you, Issei says. She gets herself together, then faces back and says, This is very good. Since you set firm resolve to study this, then be mentally prepared. I will not treat you gently. I will be teaching you strictly. Either you defeat me or I will kill you. I don't need a weakling as my student or as my lover, she added in her mind. So be prepared. I wouldn't have it any other way regardless, Issei says. Then her body rapidly vanishes. Then she appears behind him. A leg whip. Struck to fly Issei once more. Then she coherently kept attacking him like a sadistic queen. But Issei never once argued nor protested about it. He just kept following her like a harsh training and absorbed every bit of her teaching like a sponge. Whenever Issei promotes his strength and skill, Scathach also adjusted her technique and strength. And it's always exactly just right. The condition and angle of beating down have not changed from the beginning. He always was the one to get tossed around until he managed to comprehend the basic of the skill. Now, he can execute it though. His normal punches, but not as strong enough to beat her, but don't think it's his weak attack. If anyone else got hit by it, then she/won't get away unscathed. And each day he spent training his dragon Shay also started awakening. He gets far more stronger, faster, smarter at an alarming rate that she even thought at this rate he might just surpass her soon enough. His comprehension skills are also keep growing, and she really has to admit it, he's by far the best genius she has ever saw in her entire life, maybe even more than herself, because from that, what Lady Death told her, he should be quite young, around the age of 17 by human years, and he's also a former human, which she finds quite nice because she's also a former human before transforming into a divine spirit. When she finds out a bit of his past from Lady Death, she was furious. She might have just went to his world and annihilate everything that got in her way to find the ones who betrayed him and make him his newfound beloved hurt like that. But thankfully, Lady Death stopped her from doing so by telling her that's for him to judge himself, not for anyone else, for the matter of that. She relented for now, but she would make sure that if by chance she got her hands on them, she will make them know what it means by might, as well as be dead rather than alive, which Lady Death totally agreed, but she told her that she wanted to get their souls because she wanted to put them into limbo. After that, both of them are acting like sisters, which baffles Issei because before they were kind of always having a disagreement between each other. Not that it concerns Issei, that because what's on his mind right now is only to get stronger. One day, Lady Death asked Issei for a favor, which he agreed to as long as it doesn't go against his principle or whatever might be the original request from her. He wants him to be hers. What she asked are for him to give her a chance because she tells him she doesn't like her old name and have forgotten about it because of the betrayal. So Issei think about it and agree. If you're okay with me giving you a name, then, he asked once more and then stopped with a happy and seductive tone at the end. Of course I agree, especially if it's given by you, dearest, which made Issei blush a little because he still doesn't get used to that nickname given by her. How about Semiramis? He offered, which she finds quite interesting considering the legend behind that name, and she gladly accepted it because it does resemble their past because of herself often poisoned her enemy to death just to see them suffer. And just like what she did to her so-called lover who betrayed her before, slow death by poisoning. So Lady Death, which goes by the name Semiramis, are happy that she finally succeeded in her plan of making her new beloved, giving her a new name. She kept humming in a happy tone the entire day. That makes Scathach wonders what makes her so happy in the first place. And then she heard the reasons of her happiness. She totally became jealous for good of not being able to have her dear apprentice give her a new name because she already had one. But she's also happy that Semiramis got her wish because they both have already discussed among themselves about their new found beloved. At first, she totally freaks out that Semiramis knows the real reason why she's looking for perfect candidate as an apprentice, but she calms down when she hears that Semiramis passed and felt sorry for her too. Then when Semiramis proposed the harem plan to her, she was surprised, but not too much because she finds it totally normal for her man of his caliber to have multiple wives. Heck, even when she's still a human queen, she kept being told to build a harem for herself by her ministers and generals, but she was never interested with that stuff because even though she likes handsome men, just like any other normal girl, she doesn't need an empty vase. What's the use of being handsome when they are weaker than her? Even she wanted to be protected by the one she loves sometimes. Unbeknownst by Issei, he will get a harem whether he likes it or not. Of course, by the time he found out about it, it will be all too late, because already have a big moment with the woman following around him everywhere he went. Not that he'd mind on it much later on. Fast forward a month later. Issei and Scathach can be found sparring like usual in the training ground, but there's something different. They are fighting on equal ground, not like usual where Issei got tossed around by her. Even though they only did hand-to-hand combat at the moment, but you can see they are enjoying themselves, especially Scathach, because the man she loves will be able to fulfill her long-time desire sooner than she thought. He even gained the mastery of her internal arms mastery and can use any weapon at level on an expert, not a grandmaster level, but still quite amazing considering she only teaches him little about it. But his hand-on-hand combat are on pars with her. Issei also enjoying their little sparring session because he can tell he is stronger than ever before and now control of his life. In Death Aura reaches to the expert level and he can gain mana even faster than before, just by absorbing a bit of life force around him. And he can also touch and see souls, now just like Semiramis. And he could consume the soul itself if he wishes so, but not recommended by Semiramis because it's a bad thing to eat his soul because it can corrupt his soul purity. And the fact that most of his souls around her domain are evil souls cemented her suggestion even more. Not that Issei wanted to eat souls in the first place, anyway, because in the end he's former human, and not some mindless beast, so the idea of devouring souls is disturbing. Even by devouring souls he can get their skills and experience. In the end, it's not his own power, so he detests doing so, which made both ladies fell even more at him because the most people would do that just for a shortcut. During this month, Issei opened up more both to ladies. Drake is still in the process of making his new body, so that's quite sad for him because he did not want to miss his trusted partner. Unknown to him, when Drake finished reviving himself, they won't just be partners. Issei told them about his past, about his first date with Rainier, to reveal to his revival by the woman he thought the love of his life, Rias Gremory, till his confession to her during the raiding game he fought for her. Both Semiramis and Scathach listened attentively without muttering a single sound, because they want to know the past of the man they come to love. And when they heard his first betrayal by the woman, so-called Rainier, they almost blew up but held it in. But the Semiramis made a mental note to get her soul when she paid a visit to Hades' domain, for research purposes, of course. They both also noted the name Rias Gremory in their mind, but they never heard of Gremory household before, or maybe they just forgot about it because it's been so long. Well, they never really cared for some weakling in the first place. Issei stopped telling his past till then, but both women are not saddened at all. If anything, they are happy they are closer finding the truth out about their beloved past, and when they do find it, ho ho ho! There will be time where they wish they were never born. Not like they're gonna kill them straight away. It's still to their beloved what happens to them, but they sure will make them suffer when the time comes. He also smiles a bit more nowadays at them, but always has a distant, melodic look when he's alone. They both promised to make him the happiest man when they saw his looks. The Semiramis started to search for potential worlds that could make him more relaxed so he could forget about his past, because she knew just staying here won't help much with this case. He needs to experience new environment at that. Scathach, on the other hand, started sneaking into his bedroom and keeps stealing kisses when he's asleep using her perfect stealth enchantment she had. But Semiramis finds out about it and scolds her for not sharing, so they both take turns kissing him without his knowledge. Semiramis casts a silent sleeping spell so he won't wake up, and Scathach hides their presence to make sure there's nothing wrong. They even went as far as a deep tongue kiss to keep strangers alive. At one point, they came, said a full-blown woman. Yeah, whatever, you get the point. Issei keeps waking up feeling weird because his mouth always feels sore when he wakes up, and he feels ashamed that almost every time he wakes up he got a white stain on his pants, thinking he had a wet dream or something and blame it on his dragon libido. He cast cleaning magic to remove the stains every time this happens, and he finds it suspicious every time this happens. The girl's face for some reason are sparkling and beaming with satisfaction, and shrug it off thinking it's nothing that concern him. When Issei, doing a handstand with one finger with a bunch of weights on top of his legs, Semiramis called him to talk about traveling to different worlds. And that is the end of Chapter 7. Chapter 8. When Issei arrived in the living room, he sees both Semiramis and Scathach sitting in the sofa. Holy shit, sorry. They set their line of sights on Issei and feel lustful just by looking at his new form. After some time pass by, his eyes become more prominent, like it's made of sheer will and determination. Both that combined with his wine red eyes are so enchanting that makes him just want to stare at it every day. His hair is becoming a bit longer compared to the one time he arrived, if his old hair only went past his neck before. Then now it will reach below his shoulder blade, which will make it more smooth and shiny, but he still give a bad boy vibe, which both of them find more appealing. His face is still pretty much the same, but now become even more manly, which which really fits his eyes even more. His figure, which used to be skinny, are now what you call a perfect body without blemish, and even with his clothes on, you can clearly see the outlines of his defined abs and muscles, and he is but not overwhelming like a bodybuilder, which is perfect in any way, form of both the girls' eyes. They have to reel in their desires for him because they need to talk about something serious with them, but they will sure get what they want when the right time comes. Issei doesn't really mind about the looks they are giving him. It's not like he lost anything anyway, and if he had to admit, it's actually quite nice knowing two beautiful women have desires for you, but he doesn't show it in his face, and he keeps the stoic look he has, but in his eyes you could tell he trusts both of them greatly, although not fully. It's getting there. So he asks them what's wrong. The one who answers first is Semiramis. She clearly clears her throat and says, "We have both come into a conclusion that you need some change of pace. Now, before you reject it, know that it's not good to always train yourself without resting. And no, just sleeping doesn't count. So we decided it's time for you to go to another world. But don't worry, we will send you to a relaxing place so that you could relax over there." That also puts in some words. She's totally right. Even though we are happy that you never slack off, but you need to relax once in a while to get things off your mind. And, as your Shih Tzu, I command you to take a vacation. No argument allowed. So that's said being prepared for your trip. Issei at first wanted to reject, saying he doesn't need one, but hearing their concern for him makes his heart so warm that he stopped rejecting their suggestion. So he agrees to their idea and went to the kitchen to prepare dinner for them all. Oddly enough, both women don't know how to cook, even though they lived here for so long. And the reason was, we don't need to eat in the first place, so we never bother to learn how to cook. He became speechless with this answer. He can't say anything because it's truly considering they are both immortal, who doesn't need to eat, so there's no reason for them to learn it in the first place. But he still needs to eat, though, because he's not some immortal, so if he asks if there's any food around here, the Semiramis, she said no. Thankfully, after telling her that she needs something to eat, she remembered that he's not immortal like her, at least not yet. So she went to some place to come back with a bunch of animals he doesn't recognize, which is fine with him because he got a dragon stomach now. But seeing some of the ingredients that look like some shittaloo is pretty nerve-wracking, and some look like human, but suddenly it splits the head like a bunch of teeth and eyes along with tentacles with blades at the tip of a tentacle, a parasite. Ew. So he automatically burnt the thing that looks inedible to ashes with his fire breath. At least some of it are ingredients he recognized, such as pigs and such, so knowing both girls can't cook at all, he needs to learn how to cook. Not that he can't cook in the first place. If anything, he's pretty good at it because his mom used to teach him. But because his old exes always want to cook for him, he never cooked anymore. So after a bit of reminiscence, he remembered the recipe to make some stir-fried pork, and smells attract both girls. Even though they don't need to eat to survive, they can still eat if they wanted to. So when they saw the man they love cook, they were pretty happy, surprised, but ecstatic. Because for a man to be able to cook is pretty romantic in their opinion. And when they taste his cooking, they become stupefied because of how delicious it is. They even shed a bit of tears just from the taste alone. So they asked more, which is good for Issei, because at least he can repay them for what they did, even if it's only small things such as cooking for them. When both women try cooking themselves, it amazes me that they're cooking, able to admit a misma just from cooking alone. And when they asked him to try it, he told them to taste it on their own first, because if he got a stomach of a dragon, he might not be able to survive their cooking, if it can be called that in the first place, because it looks like a dark slob with eyes floating on top and a face of a human that's suffering, and he could have swore he heard it scream from despair. After they tasted on their own, they went to in a coma for 3 days straight, and they even hallucinate they could see their parents on the other side of a river, though they are not supposed to be an immortal. After that incident, left up cooking up to him and even kind of begged him to do it. Seems like they got a bit of trauma from their own cooking. So after he finishes preparing dinner for the three of them, they have a nice dinner and talk about lots of things, because they know it's going to be a while before they can have dinner together once more. They even have a drink party that night. That night was pretty intense for all three of them. Well, except Issei, because he's fast asleep like always. When he opened his eyes after his slumber, he saw the two girls sleeping on both of his left and right side respectively, which surprises him even more is that they're both naked. They are both clinging to him like a cola, and it's even weirder that he's somehow naked himself. He becomes confused for what happened last night, as he thought he's done it with both of them, and become a bit panicked if they have done it last night. When he becomes a bit restless, both of them flutter their eyes and then open them slowly. When they started looking around, they noticed they are clinging to their beloved naked, and when they saw his panically look, they just wanted to tease him by saying, saying, "You were great last night, dear." Semiramis definitely said, "Indeed. As usual, I'm so proud of your performance last night," Scathach said with a teasing tone. There's circled fingers on top of his chest, and it makes him ticklish a bit, so when he's gonna say something, they both burst out laughing. And he was confused why they were laughing, but then he realized they may be playing tricks on him. He was glad they haven't done it, but also feeling a bit lost as what, not that he will admit it anyway. "Now, you could both get off, please. My arms are a bit sore," he said while sighing. Both girls looked at each other once more and said, "Nope." At the same time, they hug him even tighter. And because both of them are naked, Issei can feel their boobs touching him, his bare chest, and he can feel something wet on each side of his legs. He knows what that is, so he blushed a bit. When he was going to snap, they both finally released him, but they both still hanging over top of him. And he can see their heavenly mountains in the flesh. Almost got a nosebleed, but held it in whilst looking away. "Wear some clothes, you two." They both chuckled seeing him like this. Then they proceeded to get off him and wear some clothes to Issei's relief, because he doesn't know if he can hold back any longer if they both continue to tease him, because his libido might be more explosive ever and he's transformed into a dragon. If they both can hear his inner thoughts, they might just become ecstatic and continue their teasing, but sadly they don't. So after a bit of preparation, Semiramis told him about the world he might go to. "The world where you would go, it's said as a relative peaceful world. Even though there's a bit of monster and the likes, they're all pretty weak, that even the old you can easily handle them. Now all you need to do is relax and enjoy your stay. After some time passes, I will send you a note for your next transfer. Don't worry and spend as long as you want over there, no matter how long you spend over there, even if it's 1 or 2 years. Over here, it's only 1 month will come to pass, so enjoy your stay and see you later, dear." Take care, my dear apprentice, and remember to take it easy. Don't spend your time training even more, or I will beat you up, and bring some girls if you want." Scathach says. Issei only thought Scathach was joking and shrugged it off, but she was serious unbeknownst to him. As for the first time difference, he thought of it as one of Semiramis' power and doesn't think much about it. "I'll be going, Semiramis. Shisu, see you later too," he said with a smile. Then both of them returned with a smile. After Semiramis taken a new dimension rift and told him to jump inside, and then he's gone. "Now then, shall we do our share of work too, dear sister?" Indeed we shall, sister." And that is the end of Chapter 8. Chapter 9. When Issei went inside the dimensional rift, there's an anomaly happening. Issei feels someone summoning him. It tries to compel him to answer its call, but then Issei just snorted off and ignores it. But the compulsion started getting stronger. When he started getting annoyed, a gap opened and he went through. When Issei opened his eyes, he saw that he's on a sky free-falling, and from the corner of his eyes he can see fire burning everywhere, and a bunch of worms flying around. But then they noticed the newcomer. They tried to attack him, but when they got near him, their instinct screaming not to mess with the man in front of them. They feel like they were before their king, the king of a dragonkin, so they turn tails and fly away as fast as they can, because they know if they do attack him, they won't last a single second. Even though their master ordered them to kill any human they see, they could tell this man before them is far from a normal human. When Issei saw the warrior try to attack him, he felt amused that a mere Wintervind tries to attack him, but before he can launch an attack, his own, he saw them turn tail and flew away. So Issei put his sight to below him. Below him he can see a city with a giant castle in the middle, so he decided to see what its compulsion kept bothering him are. He spread dragon wings and flew right to the center of the castle because he could feel where his summoners are. When he arrived at the garden of the castle, he saw a giant black dragon stand before him, and he was surprised to see a dragon here of all places, but he didn't feel a tiny bit intimidated by it at all. He just felt curious. Why is there a dragon here? While Issei's inspecting the black dragon, it also does the same to him. It was asleep before because it got bored of killing humans because they are so weak. So it left it drop to the ruins. Then it felt an aura of a dragon above in the sky, so it became alarmed, went right away to expect it. It didn't expect the owner of the aura or like a human being, but it knows better that the being before him is not a mere human. It can clearly feel an aura that's stronger than his own, far more stronger. If that being wished to kill it, then it won't even last 5 seconds, so it feels fear. Fear is seemingly small, but possesses immense power far greater than it. Whilst Issei is still inspecting the dragon in front of him, he saw it bow down and lay flat on the ground. First he was surprised, but he realized it must have felt his aura. Then he said, "Don't be afraid. I'm only to see who's summoning me. As long as you don't attack me, then I will not attack you." The black dragon meekly nodded its head and let him pass. When Issei arrived in front of a door leading to the center of the castle, he heard a clashing sound of weapons. he proceeded to open the door, clang, the collision of sound between once more. At this moment, Issei clearly in the middle of his room. Two people are battling. In one fierce combat is a young girl with a black flag with an evil dragon pattern symbol. She was taunting look on her face. And on the other side is also a young girl holding a white flag that resembles an angel with a holy flower pattern with a concentrated look on her face. They both have the same kind of weapons, which is a flag albeit with a different color. But what surprises him the most are they both look totally the same. Their armor, their stature, and their build, in their face. The only things that are different between them are the one flag, black flag, and have a pale skin complexion, yellow eyes, long white blonde hair that reach to her ankle, and the darkest color scheme of her armor, flag and cape, while the other one had fair skin complexion, amethyst colored eyes, long golden radiant blonde hair that also reached her ankle, but a white color scheme for her gears, which totally the opposite of the other party. Issei couldn't help but think to them as twins, but he stopped his thoughts when he heard the black one laughing. Ha ha ha! A laughter with full ridicule, like she's blaspheming, like she's provoking and playing with the other party. In her hand, the evil flag also emitting a phantom. Then she attacks once more. Huh? The white one says. Her expression congeals, and the forehead's filled with sweat. She hurriedly raised with the white holy flag to block the attack from the other party. Clang! The flags collide against each other and produce a flame sparks because of their collision. Clank, clank, clank. They keep trading blows with each other. Whenever the other one's attacked, the other one defends. They keep the same pace, rinse, and repeat. He can tell the black one has more fury in her attacks while the white one has compassion in hers. But Issei can't tell the black one was the winning side. It's not like the white one's weak, but the weight in her attacks are too soft compared to the black ones. The black one's filled with ominous aura filled with hate, while the white one's is filled with compassion aura like Saintus. And Issei recognized the symbol of the white flag, that holy flag symbol. If I'm not wrong, that symbol belongs to France. That means I'm in France. And if my guesses are right, that woman are Saintus Jeanne d'Arc. I have never seen that much holy power and aura on a human before, and only a Saintus can hold that kind of aura. But who is the black one? He couldn't help but wonder while looking at the black one. At this moment, the situation changed. Under the fierce attacking of the black one, along with the splash of spark, Jeanne cannot insist finally. The grip on her holy flag in her hand slipped, and the black one proceeded to attack once more. The black flag hit maliciously on Jeanne's body. Bang! Ah! Along with the groan of Jeanne, her body got struck away and rolled on the floor until she stopped in place with a palm on her ground while the other's hands clutching the place where she got hit, and took a deep breath. By the look in her eyes were filled with imposing look and determination. The grasp on a holy flag also not lessening. She could tilt tightly, staring at the opposite party. Regarding this, the black one only gave the opposite party an insult. What's wrong? Only this? Black in disdain. In here, I thought you could give me a challenge, a Saintus of this decade country, the black one says. Hearing this, Issei got the confirmation he needed to know. The white one really is Jeanne. Only why is she still alive? Isn't she supposed to be already dead? Did I somehow travel back in time, but a history never mentioned as she has a twin? When Issei is still thinking, she hurt, asking the black one, "Who are you?" Jeanne asked while biting her lip. She gazes at her. With her voice limited and moving, she asked once more, "Why you do this kind of matter?" Jeanne says. "The matter where there's some kind of war happening outside with a bunch of vermins killing humans and braining everything. If you really are me, you should know. Here is our motherland. Do you really want to destroy it?" But the black one says, "And I was wondering what you want to say originally, or this foolish talk." She says with a disdain and ridicule look, "You are asking me why I do this kind of matter. Then I also want to ask you, why can't you do the same thing as me?" The black one says. She sounds loudly. "Think of everything we've done for this country so far. Think of the sacrifices we made, and the repayment they gave us. They only look when we got captured. They only look when we are falsely accused. They even also only look when we are delivered to cross, to burn to ash. Now you unexpectedly asked why I want to do this matter?" She says with utter hatred. "Naturally, because I must have my revenge. Take revenge against the humans as well as this country. This is the reason why I did all of this," the black one says. But Jeanne, who's hearing this, only becomes silent on this exquisite charming face, doesn't have a tiny bit of hatred, as has not been at a loss. Only excusable sadness has sufficed. She says, "Please stop. If you really are me, then please stop." This is what she pleads to the other her. "Because I have never thought to take a revenge. From their conversation, Issei realized they must have been the same Jeanne, yet entirely different at the same time, because they both do the same thing but have a different wish. The black Jeanne wishes for revenge while the other white one does not. They have sacrificed everything for the country when they were born, but in the end they finally got betrayed by things they want to protect just like him. In other words, you don't acknowledge that I am Jeanne, right? The black one says. You can't see her expression because she's looking down, because her taunting smiles are nowhere to be seen. Like me, who is unable to understand why you don't want to take revenge. You could also not understand me. You denied me. I will also deny you. Lost the title, lose the name, lose the memory. Then only this hatred itself I will not lose. Such being the case, so long as I have this hatred, is sufficed. You want to protect this country, I want to destroy it. Then we shall have arrived in hell to burn in sticks together. She proceeds to lift the flag, then in the moment, boom, the red lotus karmic fire appears. Jeanne was startled from the flame. Jeanne felt rich resentment and negative sentiment. Then, the thing she does inside her own flame. How? Don't you have such power? She says with distorted smile. This flame can only be attained if you accept that stake, and I was a determined flame that related to all to obtain. Flame of revenge. I was slandered as a witch. Then by using this cursed flame, I shall let them burn in karmic fire completely, be a witch just like they condemn me for, and you shall also feel it once more, just like during your death in the stake. The words fall. Karmic firestorm sweeps across to Jeanne. Whew! Jeanne doesn't care to neglect such attack, then she also lifts her holy flag. Whoosh! Some radiant brilliance emit from the flag, making a dim golden light shines the area. Black Jeanne liberated, own noble Phasmaton truly named loudly. All evil is here. The time for revenge has come. This is a roar of my soul that was polished by hatred. Karmic fire inflates immediately. Burnt black the floor instantaneously. Evaporated the air, resembled the tide to the same. Looks like a wicked dragon's breath went towards Jeanne's body. Here's the work of my lord, my flag. Defend our brethren, Jeanne said. Jeanne liberated her own noble Phasmaton, truly named Semiramis, and a bright and radiant golden light also bloomed from Jeanne's holy flag and created the barriers surrounding her. Then the whole room went bright. The end of Chapter 9. Chapter 10. At this moment, Black Jeanne has carried on the liberation of her noble Phasmaton. Let's resentment and curse emotions change into flaming karmic fire, burns completely into all directions, while Jeanne is at the center of said flame. Facing this flame, with full of hatred, noble Phasmaton, even if Saintess, is unable to withstand it for long. Combustion! Combustion! The black Jeanne shouts recklessly, seeming like venting her own humidity, which full of hatred, making the flame ignition even stronger. Therefore, the floor started to melt. The temperature rises even hotter. Space started to twist. My pain is stronger. So I needed to say that. Naruto. The entire room changes into settling, the sea of fire instantaneously. The entire area change into the purgatory sea of fire, filling the air with black smokes. In such purgatory sea of fire, only one spot maintains the previous state, and that spot is where Jeanne's are. Issei is standing for enough for the battle arena, so he is not affected by it. Not like the fire can hurt him anyway, because he can easily take a bath inside of a lava without worrying of getting burned. If anything, he feels comfortable. In the dim golden light, as a visible wall barrier protects Jeanne to be the same from her fluttering red flag as such emits, so light covers all around her. Lord, please protect me, Jeanne says. Jeanne closes one eye tightly, facing this formidable flame that looks like it can burn down everything. On the face of the saintess did not have a single sign of fear nor dread. She only reverently offering her prayer to make the holy flag shines even brighter. But even though Jeanne's noble Phasmaton defensive power is astonishing, but the flag itself, it continuously took damage, will become unstable, and even where it passes a certain threshold. While Black Jeanne seems only going to keep getting stronger and stronger, like you can't see the bottom of her power. Combustion! Combustion! She screams once more, but with more intensity this time. Much crueler. In this case, flames are getting even stronger. Ugh! Jeanne says. The Jeanne expression also gradually starting to become more strained. The light on her flag becomes dimmer. Without a doubt, if this continues, the flag will reach its limit eventually. The black one says. Black Jeanne is recklessly laughing, watching watching her other her struggling, until something happened. She saw a young man standing in front of the other her, and not getting burned at all facing her flames, and that made her eyes widen. Jeanne also realized someone stood in front of her, and the burden she feels are gone like it's never there in the first place. So she looks up and saw a handsome young man looking down at her. The look in his eyes are limpid, like he's pitying her. Then she heard his voice. "Is it worth it?" Issei says. When she's confused with what he meant, he continues talking once more. "Is it worth it? After you sacrificed everything for the things you love. But in the end, you're betrayed by them, knowing your demise is coming. But you never fought back because you feel like it's your job, even though you have the power to fight back," Issei says. Then she realizes what he's asking, or she answered with, "Yes, it's all worth it. Even though they condemn me as a witch, burn me down as all the stakes, it's worth it. Because the Lord gave me his revelation, I will do as he said," she stated with conviction, just like a true saint she is. Issei only looked on her quietly at her. His eyes never lost pity for the young girl in front of her, which baffles Jeanne's pity why she's looking at her like that. But their silence is broken by Black Jeanne's scream. "Who are you?" She screams with hatred because this newcomer blocked her flames to protect the other her. She's confused and angry. How can he block her flames like it's nothing? But Issei never turned around to answer her and continuously gazing at Jeanne. "Answer me!" She screams once more and tries to increase the intensity of her flame, but to no avail because forgot even flinching. Even the corner of his clothes are not burnt. It looks like he doesn't feel the same flame, she admits, like there was never even flame to begin with. She becomes more enraged, stopped using her flame, and made a dash to him to try to stab him with a flag. "Ah! Look out!" Jeanne says. Jeanne, who saw this, tries to warn him and tried to stand up to protect him, but because she's exhausted to even stand properly after spending most of her power to defend herself previously, so she can only look on when Black Jeanne tries to stab him from behind. Issei still doesn't turn around, but he extends his hand backwards and make him grabbing the motion towards the attack which is coming his way and stopped it effortlessly with one hand, and stopped Black Jeanne's advances just like that. This alarmed her greatly because she puts everything she gets against the strike. Here it is, stopped like it's nothing by the man in front of her. Jeanne also becomes stupefied by this as she stopped her thoughts when he speaks one more. "I truly pity both of you." Issei finally turned around to look at Black Jeanne in her eyes, but he still had the pitying look when he was looking at Jeanne, and his look made Black Jeanne furious because she doesn't need pity from anyone. When she tried to say something, he continues saying, "You both sacrificed everything you have. Your body, your blood, your time, and even your life just to protect something you both love just because of some revelation from something unclear." And his words angers both of them because even though Black Jeanne wants revenge, she still believed in the Lord deep inside of her. They both screamed, "Don't you dare say the revelation from God as something unclear." Even though Jeanne is a saintess, she will still become angry if someone insulted her Lord. She won't mind if anyone scorn her, but she won't allow anyone scorn her beliefs. Same goes with Black Jeanne. Issei responded to their outburst with the same calm look and tone. "Then I asked you both of this. Have you ever seen your so-called Lord?" Issei says. They both tried to argue, but they have to admit they've never seen the Lord in the flesh before, but they believe they can feel him, and they clearly heard the voice of their Lord before. So they told him just that, but what he said next completely took them by surprise. "Really? How about if I told you both that your so-called God is already dead long before you were even born?" Issei says. "What? You're lying! Don't you dare blaspheme him even more than you do!" Jeanne and Black say at the same time. "I'm not lying. I don't have a reason to lie to the both of you. God is already dead during the Great War between the three factions a long time ago. The one who took his place is one of his archangels, Archangel Michael. If you think I'm lying, then here I shall show you," Issei says. Then Issei put both of his hands on top of their heads and made them see from his own memory about finding God's death. Then they both saw the revelation from Michael, and how God are already dead before they were even born. Heard the fact that Michael took over his place to act like one. Now they know the truth behind their so-called revelation. It's orchestrated by Michael and not God himself. He has to sacrifice both of them because he needs humanity to stand on their own. He can't interfere directly because humans tend to become more afraid of the unknown. No, Jeanne said. She collapsed into the floor. Once more, a tear streamed down her eyes, and eyes had lost the sight. She can't believe everything is true. She kept mumbling, "No, this must be lies." While Black Jeanne, "Isn't this sweet?" she says as she looked at the other Jeanne. "We fought for fucking nothing, Jeanne. We have been burned in the name of a fucking corpse. I knew there was no God." Her words are cruel to Issei. No, behind those words was deep sadness. Nothing. All her hatred burst out like a broken dam. Everything was a fucking lie, she kept saying, as tears also fell from her eyes. Then she also collapsed on the floor, hiding her face, both of her hands. Issei just looked on when both of them poured their sadness after finding out the truth. He knew what he did is cruel, but they need to find out the truth, because he doesn't want them to sacrifice their lives for nothing. After a while, he finally spoke once more. So, was everything worth it? Issei says. They both lift their heads and stare angrily at him, with tears still in their eyes. They know the cruel truth from him. You want to blame me for telling you the truth, then go ahead. If you want to have your revenge against me, then be my guest. I don't mind taking both of your hatred, if that makes you feel better, but I won't take anything back. I've done. Even if I could, because you both need to know the truth, Issei says. He paused for a bit before continuing, saying, I have also experienced the same thing as you two. I have sacrificed everything for the ones I once loved, but in the end, they betrayed me. At first, I also felt devastated and wanted to end it all by letting myself die from the cold, hard truth. But my trusted partner pulled me back from despair. I felt it and made me realize the word called freedom. Freedom to not act on anyone else. Freedom to choose the path that lies before me. Freedom to finally act for myself and not for others. And I find it funny how just one word can bring me so much joy. Freedom cannot be bestowed. It must be achieved. That saying things are quite true. The great revolution of the history of man, past, present, and future, is the revolution of those determined to be free. You can sacrifice as much as you want. If you cannot free yourself, then how can you free other people? Sometimes sacrificing yourself for others are not a good thing. That way, they won't ever truly be free if you keep saving them. They need to strive for freedoms themselves. Michael's way is not wrong, but also not right. He is right for thinking the best for humans so they can stand on their own, but he is wrong when he chose to sacrifice both of you just to achieve his objectives. So here's where my favorite sayings comes in. Everything is permitted, nothing is true. You can be called a saintess, you can be called a witch, but in the end what defines your true self is not someone else, not even God himself. It's you, yourself, who decides what you want to be, as long as you believe who you truly are, and do not pay heed to what other people's call you, shall find your own freedom. Freedom to become whatever you want. At that moment, both Jeanne sees light, the light they have thought they lost for knowing the cold hard truth. So tell me, will you achieve your own rights? Rights to be happy? Rights to be yourself? The rights to finally attain your own truth? Freedom? Or will you just look away and ignore what truthfully is yours in the first place? And if you're afraid of moving forward, then I shall offer you my back to lean on until you are ready to move forward your own, he says, while looking at both of them with the sincerest smile he can muster, and his eyes are filled with gentleness and caring warmth, seeing they finally see the light once more. Something he thought he can't achieve anytime soon, but at least he could save the two Jeannes in front of him, saving them from never-ending cycle of acting as sacrificial lamb, and finally they started to look at their own freedom. When the two Jeannes saw his sincere smile, his gentle caring eyes, when they thought they saw God for the first time in their life, they feel an emotion that they thought they'd throw away just to serve purpose, Lord. Love. Not love like they felt for their country, but love between a man and a woman. They stop their tears and both have a rigid cheer on their smeek. Black Jeanne is still a bit of distrust because of what her core are. Distrust against everything, so she asked him, and why should we believe you? You might betray us just like the others when you have a chance. She spat on him, and she's indeed afraid of trusting him, even though she favorable feelings against him. The white Jeanne also feel a bit of distrust after what just happened, but they both become stupefied from what he says next. Issei admits his dragon aura to the fullest and says, hereby, I swear on my soul and my name, Issei Hyodo, if I ever betray the two women before me, then shall my soul be destroyed and never to be reincarnated, Issei says. Then both girls feels their connection between their souls connected to his very soul, and they know they are now bound by contract. If by chance ever betray them, then his souls will cease to exist. This contract is absolute and lasts for all eternity. They become wide-eyed and can't believe he just swore an oath that binds their souls like that. They can end him anytime they want if they chance to even betray him. Is that enough for you to gain trust from the both of you? He gains with the same smile as before. And there is not a tiny bit of hesitation or regret when he said his oath, and they can feel their heart thump wildly inside their chests when they saw his smile once more. Even Black Jeanne feels emotion when she thought she will never feel again from all the hatred she harbors inside of her. Trust and love. For the first time she feels an emotion rather than just pure hatred. She likes this new feeling, while White Jeanne put her hands together like she's praying, for her face is anything holy. Her face like red like tomatoes. Her eyes holds nothing but love for the man before her, like she finally sees her true lord. And that is the end of chapter 10. And that is where we're going to stop for now. So thank you so much for the support. It's been absolutely amazing. Once again, if you guys want me to release merch, I will try to live stream on December 28th, most likely at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. I will let you know. Don't worry, I'll post it in the community post, so check the community tab. And if you guys want to become a channel member at all, click the little blue button right next to the description below to know exactly when I'm coming out with a video. So thank you all for the support. Seriously, I'm getting something, like I'm working on something right now. I hope it works out. It'd be really cool if it works out. I know you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, but it's something big. So I just wanted to thank you guys for everything. Like, truly sit back now that it's Christmas, right? Let's have a heart to heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just wanted to thank everybody for the amazing support. Like, it's truly been insane to come from, in high school, everybody was talking shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was crazy. It was kind of sad. You know what I'm saying? I was like, but now, like, I have some type of success on my name, so it's pretty cool to look back at it. And yeah, just remember, you can be angry at people who did you wrong, but revenge never gets you anywhere. And I learned that the hard way. So I just wanted to give everybody that advice. It's pretty much emptiness after that, even though you achieved something that you thought would make you feel. But just be prepared. Remember, don't be angry at people for too long. If you think you did something wrong, make sure to apologize and mend the relationship. It's always better to do that. Now, thank you guys for the support. It's been absolutely amazing. Thank you to all my balance breakers and limit breakers. And once again, Aunt Palpowski is almost at 50,000 subscribers. I'm going to try to do it before I go back to college, which is the 10th of January is when I have to go back, unfortunately. So thank you so much for the support, man. I'm going to do some big things. And I'm glad you're all going to be a part of it, because I have some huge plans, man. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. And without further ado, Spartanic Arts DxD out.